electrical and HVAC.
Welcome to the Bold, White, and Blue podcast. Good afternoon, Justin.
What's up, John?
What's happening?
Just here, doing it, living it, having fun.
That's right. Doing a little different today. We're on a Monday instead of a Friday.
Man,
Got us on a different wave.
Yeah, Friday was wild. We just had to take care of a lot of things. I mean, unfortunately, we are still in the service business. As much as we love doing this podcast, we got to get out there and lay some pipe every now and then, right?
So it goes.
Yeah, we had a customer in downtown Anderson. We worked, I guess, it was about 8 o'clock probably when we got off.
On Friday?
On Friday night. So had to run some 4-inch under their house. They had a backed up line, a collapsed line. So we got them back online though for the weekend.
Nice.
They protected and
perfected.
That's right.
No. Hey, I want to talk to you about some things the marketing side of people I think will find interesting today, and the business owners and maybe people who are more on the back end of things. I think might find a lot of insight to this kind of stuff.
Hey, I think the more we talk about it, almost like it kind of makes things clear in our own head.
Yeah,
We're
just using this as a sounding board.
Sounding board. Yeah. Well, Josh, what do you think? Well, I think.
Right.
And then all of a sudden we have these little gems that fall out of that.
So the thing, as you know, that we've been getting a lot more focused on is our Facebook stuff.
Yeah.
And so hopefully people have seen that. We're definitely putting a different level of effort to those posts.
Yeah, for sure.
Making sure it's consistent, always going out there and things like that. But in my position,
and I hope they're patient with us because that's new to me, like taking my camera and doing this.
Yeah.
I always laughed, literally ridiculed my sons over that kind of stuff. They want
selfies.
They want a selfie. They won't even, they're like, they don't even want to see. They don't want me to see them doing that, but now I have to do it every day.
Yeah.
And so I apologize in advance if I'm incredibly awkward with it. But sometimes I have really good messages, and I am trying to put those real key messages out there. I know last night it was going to get 14 degrees. I tried to put some tips and tricks to protect your home. So I'm definitely trying to make sure that stays entertaining, but also make sure that I throw some meat and potatoes in there or some good heads up for the community too.
Do you want to give, before we jump into all that, do you want to give David's little tip that he gave us that I thought was actually pretty good about the remotes?
On the fire logs?
Just any remote in general. Do you remember what he was?
Oh, yeah. So if you have a remote, whether it's a TV remote or a gas log remote, fire starter, and you're not sure if the batteries are good or you're not sure if it's actually sending signal to your TV or fire logs, your mini split air conditioner, whatever the case is, if you'll take your camera and shine the remote at the camera, your camera on your iPhone can see the infrared beam inside of that remote where your naked eye cannot. So that was a tech tip and trick that he gave us the other day when we were checking fire logs.
I thought that was good.
It is.
I heard him say that, and I kind of looked at you, and I was like,
and the other tip with that is make
thing.
sure that you change your batteries out on your fire log remotes every year, because batteries sitting there corrode, those remotes will go out, and those receivers will not receive anymore.
Here we go. A couple tips of the
Couple
day.
little tips there.
Anyway,
you were saying something about Facebook.
So Facebook, and on my end, I've had to start digging a lot more into the back end of things, the meta business and insights and all of that side. I'm still barely scratching the surface on these things. So if there's anybody who is much more knowledgeable than I on these things, I am 100% open to hearing, like, no, actually, it was right there the whole time. You're just uneducated.
Yeah.
But one of the things I discovered is a tool that is very powerful in the potential that it has. And I found it, just chat GPT and just sitting there and figuring out, like, hey, what can I do? Because I had a certain goal in mind. I'm like, okay, how do I accomplish this on the Facebook platform? And it laid it out for me. He's like, all right, you go here, it should be on this side of the screen. You're going to click here, blah, 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 blah. I get to where I'm supposed to go, and it's nowhere to be found.
Right.
And I start responding to chat, screenshots or however I did it. Like, hey, this is actually not here. You're telling me it's on this page?
Yeah.
And it's not. And it's like, oh, perfect. Thanks for the clarification. Actually, what had happened is
What had happened?
what had happened
Hey,
was
anytime a sentence starts with, well, what had happened was,
it's not going well.
yeah, it's not usually that good.
No, and it's not here.
Is what had happened the way you say that, or is what happened? So what really
It's
happened?
been corrupted by that.
But you can't say it correctly
No.
without saying
What
what
had
had
happened
happened.
was,
There you go. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
what had happened on Chat GPT?
It basically said, "Hey, you too small for this operation."
Exactly. Little.
Right, little fish,
Little
big
fish,
pond.
yep.
Get out of here. You're a guppy minnow. We're not interested.
Boy, don't get me on a soapbox.
I'm gonna
Okay.
start it up today. I'm gonna start that engine up. And immediately I'm just fuming over it. Well, I try to figure out like, are you sure? Are you sure? Is there a way we can
Back up and tell that story all the way. So tell that all the way. So when you put that in, because I was in your office, it said, like, was it 2022 or something? They removed that feature from small to intermediate sized businesses. Or
That's what I was gonna go. That's why I actually have my computer today.
that's fine.
Is basically here's the what changed side of it.
Okay.
Is that Meta restricted and changed developer access after a major privacy backlash. So it announced that and this was in 2018.
Okay.
That it was going to restrict data access. So that's kind of the start.
Did Sloshly straighten you out on that one?
Sloshy's getting me right
Okay,
here.
there you go.
And then Meta, it says it tightened the group access over time because what we were going to do actually involved the groups and stuff like that. And then it says in 2024, Meta cut off third-party access to Facebook groups via basically third-party tools or outside tools.
Just making it more proprietary for
Right,
Facebook
right.
and Meta.
Keeping
Yeah.
it all in their own domain and house and where they have complete control over who has this tool and that tool. Basically banning everything around any kind of automated data collection. So they're saying even if you do what's called scraping groups, you can actually get you blocked and banned from the platform.
So why don't you describe that? What's scraping?
For the way we were trying to do it is without giving too much away. I mean, we can kind of whatever.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But what we were trying to do is get a way where we could respond to people efficiently.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Across the platform. So in groups we're in, whether it's just somebody posting, whatever, with good intent. So for people listening, if you're posting a problem, who is responding to your problem has been, what's the word I'm looking for? It's been chosen by the higher ups,
By Meta.
by Meta,
AI.
by Facebook.
Yeah.
Basically, like it's not going to. Everybody can't see that in the same way.
It looks like people are just randomly giving you
Advice
their company,
or-
and
yeah.
they can. So anybody can add that, but your post is going to be seen by who Meta selects it to be seen by.
Right.
It's not so much the response as much as it is how Meta decides to distribute that request.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been selected already. So it's not even giving you as a consumer a fair cut of the pie because you're not getting everyone's response.
So I'm going to run a hypothetical.
Sure.
Let's say, and I believe with everything in my being that we're one of the best companies in our area. I'm not saying we're the best. We're definitely one of the top service companies in our small pond, right? So let's say we did not have a active Facebook account. Say we just had a Facebook account. We just randomly posted pictures. We didn't pay for any kind of ads or boosting of posts or anything like that, which we do very little of. But anyway, let's just say we're just a very, very small footprint on Facebook, not even something that we engage in. And you have 3 other guys that are big Facebook people, but not very good service guys and not able to maybe handle the scope of your work. And you put in your need, you will not find me. You will not find the most qualified contractor.
Yeah.
And this is the problem, because these platforms, while they intend to help, or their statement is to be able to, their AI is to be able to cipher out the most qualified candidates, exactly what's happening is it's finding you the most qualified social media experts.
Yeah, or who plays their game the best, or who pays their game the best. And that's
Yeah.
really where I wanted to get to with that part is, so to sum it all up as far as who gets access to these tools, because these tools exist within Facebook's own ecosystem, is right, large multi-location national companies who have a historical ad spend with Facebook of a very high amount.
I'm gonna throw that number out there, up to what, $200,000 a month.
I think it was a year.
No,
It was.
it was.
Are you sure?
It
was
was
a month.
No, it was. You're right. It was 200,000 a year, or up to 200,000 a month.
It was a
Because
crazy
it was
number.
like if you spend 20 to 50,000, it doesn't guarantee you access to these tools.
Yeah, that's the number I had, is the 20 to 50.
But that was just the starting range with no guarantee of access.
Yeah,
A month.
yeah. So you could throw your whole kit and caboodle at this to say, hey, get me these tools, because I see it as a return on investment, but it may not even give it to you. It's like, if we feel like turning it on, maybe we'll turn it on.
And you know what happened to the old days where you applied? Let's say you said, I think my company is eligible for these tools. What happened to the application process? And then the yes or no.
Yeah.
But no, the very backhanded way that things are being handled now is, oh, you might not pay millions of dollars essentially to chase your application.
It's like your elk hunting desire.
Yes.
You're gonna pay a
You enter
lot
a
of
lottery.
money to enter a lottery, and you may get a tag.
Yeah.
But if you keep doing it year after year after year,
you got a better chance.
You got a better chance.
Yeah.
You still might not.
Yeah, so my thing on elk, which we're not going to get.
I just
too
thought it was
far.
an interesting
It is,
comparison.
but with this elk hunting stuff, and I mean, I'm trying to get in shape, so I really have a desire to take my younger son and go out and hunt for elk in the West. But I know for a fact they have an actual price tag on trophy elk. It's not you're not going to enter the lottery and end in the top zone with a top trophy bull elk your first year. They're not doing that. There's a price tag. It's rigged. 100%, I believe it is. So yeah, you might get to hunt elk in your first year, second year, third year, but your big trophy elk, you're going to pay, and they have a way to work that system, make sure. And how I came upon that conclusion is because if you choose to go through a Native American agency, maybe on reservation land or something like that, to hunt, you can just tell them, I want a trophy bull elk, and they'll say it'll cost you $30,000. Here's your tag. So I almost wish they would just do that instead of playing the game. Say, no, our trophy bull elk costs $30,000. You're gonna have to pay that, and then in 2027 you can come hunt. But there's no telling how much money they make on these things. It's really, really kind of crazy. But anyway, I'd love to talk elk hunting, but I don't think nobody else does.
I mean, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Yeah. I definitely got some friends that watch this
Yeah.
that wouldn't mind talking about that.
Yeah. But yeah, it
go ahead.
basically came back with you're not big enough. You don't have as many locations as we give these tools out to, or you're not a celebrity, a media outlet, which that one I feel like is very interesting, that they are willing to give these very powerful tools, if used in the right hands, to media outlets. Because you think about how that is going to impact things. They already do, but they can use these things to completely and quickly sway narratives. Like if I have my keywords set,
And they can keep other groups from being able to sway narratives.
from sway narratives. Exactly.
You can't fight fire with fire anymore through
Right.
social media. So if you think
Yeah.
that the great balancing act is social media. They're on that. They're getting that.
Because I could have a
ironed
keyword,
out.
and I'm not gonna bring up any specific topics
Yeah.
because I'm not even gonna push those buttons. But
Yeah.
let's say hypothetically, I want to put in the word like protest
Mm-hmm.
because both sides can protest, like whatever. If I'm a media outlet and I have that as a top thing, I can get every single result of that word being used and be the first one to respond with whatever I want to be seen quickly at
That's
the
crazy.
top and what can be liked the most and pushed up. So when it's pushed up, it appears as the right answer.
Yeah.
So if we try to jump on a post about, hey, I need a plumber, and there's already 50 companies and the top one is already bumped to the top because they got there early or they have some kind of system where they get pushed, they appear as the right answer.
Right.
And it goes the same
So
way
what
with
do you
those.
do, Josh? I mean, we're talking about this, but what do we do? What do you do to combat this? Because you said earlier, you get mad. You got your anger, you're livid.
yeah.
The second you realize that you'd been effectively blocked from controlling your own destiny through a platform you thought was free and fair,
Yeah.
you realize very suddenly that they are playing the same game that every other powerful social media company is. So what do you do?
My first move was to try a third party option.
Oh, they blocked that though, right?
And they blocked that. So that's a part of that as well, as far as what I went over earlier, their stages of blocking things.
And you thought that wasn't fair.
Right. And this is something I wanted to ask you. I said I had a little interesting thing, and you may have to chew on this and think about it. I doubt it too. I think you already got this one answered.
Okay.
You don't even know it's coming. So their claim is that it is a violation of private data.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to explain this to me. How is a public social media platform any form of private data? How is that private?
Yeah, I might have to chew on that one again. I'm not sure how they rationalized that one, because everything on there, people that are on there, everything is optional and disclaimed. I mean, you can't even get an account in Facebook without agreeing to all their releases. And once you put yourself out on social media, you're there.
But that's exactly right. You're putting yourself out.
Right.
You're saying, I'm going to enter into this public sphere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to bring this under the light. How can you say that person says, I'm trying to put this in the public?
Especially, you bring that to point. I mean, and you can block. So you can unfriend, you can block, you can do whatever you want to. You don't have to join groups. If you decide you're tired of Ace Plumbing's posts, you block us. I mean, there's not a, you stop following us. It's not a situation where the consumer or an individual doesn't have control. They must definitely have control. But
like, I could see private information. Like, okay, you put your credit card in as a business to pay for ad spend, if that is something that your business does. I can see that. Like, all right, we want to make sure things like that are secure. But as far as posts, like me not being able to vet and analyze posts because you're claiming private data on a public post, like, to me, that is absolutely absurd.
But Josh, we already know
Yeah.
the system is not fair.
It's not.
We're in a capitalist society. Have you ever read any of Ayn Rand stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've read Atlas Shrugged.
Atlas Shrugged. I mean, come on, man.
That's a book there.
Look, I love capitalism.
Yeah.
Okay. It's truth. It is what nature teaches us. The strong survive. Has it been violently abused? Have humans absolutely raped the world? No doubt. No doubt. Have they oppressed? Have they caused a lot of problems? For sure. But the news flash, like getting into politics, is that every form of government eventually gets to that point anyway. But capitalism in its purest form is capitalism. I can tell you right now, as good a friend as I am with lots of plumbers, HVAC guys, electricians, we're friends. We have our morals. We have our ethics. We're neighbors. We support each other to the best of our ability. But at the end of the day, if I have something that is producing an edge in our competition for an area, we use it. and we're not going to open that tool up very easily. These social media companies are money-making machines. They're capitalists of the highest order. And since they're in the driver's seat, they can require that nobody else be as capitalistic as them. Okay? So it's just the way it works. My point with all that is I don't care. I don't care if you believe in capitalism, whatever you believe in as far as a form of government or how you want to live your life. You know, Christ even taught, he said, you know, having all things in common. He would talk about stuff like that. You know, they sold their goods and shared amongst themselves. So, no, I'm not a communist. Okay. But you got people who see the value in communism, you know, or socialism. My point is, it doesn't really matter what you believe. We're in a capitalistic society, 100%.
Yeah.
So we got two choices. We can cry and complain and deflect, and we can feel entitled. You know, what word were you asking me about this morning? You were saying that, you know, you can feel you deserve.
Right. A little thing I wanted to share is basically that around that entitlement mindset. So you look at the word deserve, D-E, serve. So the root of D-E is like off, from, away. You know, all words that are negative. So like not serve, basically. If you feel like you deserve something, it doesn't serve you, and it doesn't allow you to serve anybody else. Straight up. When you are in that stuck in, I'm entitled to this, and if I don't get it,
and so essentially what we can find ourselves in the trap of as a business owner, or someone who is young and trying to start your business, you can come up with the woe is me mentality that the system's rigged against you. Guess what, Buttercup? It most certainly is. The rich want to stay rich, and the powerful want to stay powerful. And it's okay. Because you're powerful too.
And that's where
you're
came
smart.
to.
And that's ultimately where we're at, right?
Right. We acknowledged it for what it was. Let's have our little frustration bout. Let's talk about it and get upset together. And it's like, all right, now what's the response? We do us.
Is the correct response is that, since they want to be like that, I'm not going to post on Facebook.
Right. We can't boycott it.
You can't boycott them. They are the systems that be.
Yeah.
Google's here for now. You know, you can choose how you use it and how much you invest, and that's where you have to thine own self be true. Because you have to know your finances. You have to know your level of resistance to risk. You have to know if you're being greedy, if you should be content with where you're at. And look, there's nothing wrong with being put in a lane. I hate it. Boy, if someone puts me in a lane, I've got to get in the other lane. I don't like to ride behind a car in the fast lane. That's just many people, right? So when you get put in your lane, sometimes you just have to, that's just where you're at, and you've got to accept that. And as a small business owner that wants to grow and wants to expand, and you just feel like everything's conspiring against you to be able to scale or to be able to expand, step back, reprioritize. Why do you want to expand? What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to give? Because if you're trying to expand for your own power, your own glory, whatever the reasons are, it's probably a check and balance system that's keeping wolves away from wolves, if you know what I mean. Whereas if you say, I need to expand, I want to expand because I have a very large family and I want to ensure their prosperity, guess what? You'll probably find a way to expand to that point.
Yeah.
Okay? The greater need that you can supply to yourself, your community, the world, the more you provide is a direct reflection of the income that you're going to have and the reputation you're going to have. You very seldom find very powerful or influential people that don't provide a lot of service. They might not be nice guys. They might not be great guys, but they provide a humongous service somewhere, and they were paid for it. You know, we had made the call to not spend money with Google for a while, right? We don't spend money with Facebook ads. And we say, we're just going to tell our story to the only people that matter to us. our existing customers. And we started there. Just try to take care of our customers. I know I got on the phone today with a customer that just felt they weren't being heard, and they were right. So we talked a long time, and we're going to have a follow-up talk the next day. Sometimes I'm reminded that no matter what matters, how you get to a certain place was one relationship at a time. So the only people I need to concern myself with talking to and providing for is the people I've already committed to. The people in Piercetown, in Williamston, in Easley, Powdersville, my backyard. And we expand a little bit from there. We've got an office in Taylor's. We take care of a little bit of Taylor's and Greer, and so on and so forth. But the commitment still remains one person at a time.
Yeah. And that entitlement mindset tying to relationships, when you look at that, like if you say, I deserve that customer, regardless of them being however they feel.
And that's
if
how
you
people
say
feel.
you deserve it, or
Yeah.
if I say like, and this is one especially easy to fall into, and that I'd struggle with, and I had a problem with, is I deserve that girl. Look at all I've done. I gave you this. I did this for you. I texted back this fast. All whatever criteria you put around it. I would fall into that mindset of like, why isn't this working out for me? I feel like, and you wouldn't say openly like, hey, I deserve you, because it's okay, that's ridiculous.
Right.
But in your mind, you have like this should be working.
Yeah. But you think about it, you just use your analogy, because see, I don't know that I think that way myself, but probably because my dad probably killed that way of thinking in me. But let's take that exact analogy. That's a race to the bottom when it is that you're looking for a mate. If they see that entitlement in you, that lack of self-sacrifice, or that overimportance of yourself, undervaluing them as though maybe they should, just cater to you because, hey, look, you did these few little trite things for me for a few months. You think that I'm just gonna, be swoon for you or whatever.
Right. Yeah, it's a very like high school mentality. Like that's
But
where
that's
I fell
the
into
society.
it. It's like that young man.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Yes. And it does carry over from high school and adolescent ambitions to business and to your home, tremendously. And, I can't tell you how many people I hear make decisions. I worked for a guy who only made decisions based on money. Now, I'm not saying do that, but what he did do is he did not make decisions on emotion. So you could go to him and you can explain all the ethical things that were done wrong to you and how you should be in the right. Let's take this to court. We'll win. And he will very simply write out how much it would cost for the attorney, how much it's going to cost in settlements, how much it's going to cost in downtime, how much it's going to cost in emotional stress. He'll do the math, he'll do the bottom line, and he'll say, how much do you think we can win in the lawsuit? And he'll say, nope, you're going to lose $150 to do that. Nope, settle with him.
Break it down like
Legit
that.
like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched it more than once, and I learned a lot from that guy. He still does a lot of business here in Greenville, but he was not. He will go to court, and I actually sat in several arbitration meetings with him on construction projects. So it happened, but even in those, he never bought in. And those things would start out, and someone would say, "This happened. You did this. You said this." He's just quiet, and he just said, wherever the money makes sense to me, that's all I care about. Well, I don't exactly think that way. I'd like my life to be a little richer and a little more emotional than that.
Yeah.
Still a tremendous lesson in that. That emotion can make you look really stupid.
Yeah, because in those scenarios, like especially looking at relationships, like trying to find your intentions are crystalline. They're perfect in your mind. Your intentions are like, I'm doing this because I see you as this.
People die for that all the time.
I love you in your mind. You don't know what love is at that point, but you know, all these things, it's all from a great place in your head. And it's like, and it's not working out.
My dad,
And you'll ruin those relationships from
man,
that.
I was so idealistic when I was younger, and I'd come home all just, as I say in the mountains, head up. I come home all head up about something, and my dad would just be like, I mean, I'd be like, he did this, and I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to go to war. And sometimes it wouldn't even be my personal problem. It's just something, injustice that I saw that angered me so much. And my dad would always tell me, say, you're not going to change the world. You're not going to change the outcome. All that's going to happen is you're going to find yourself in an early grave, or you're going to be in prison. Mm. So if you decide that you got to fight and die for something, I hope it's for eternal life. And and he would always say that. I mean, he'd be like, not your fight, or you're not going to change the system. You know, those. So my point with all that, and I have some neighbors and some friends that fight for some very noble causes in the community right now, and I'm very respectful of them. I think early in our friendship, they found out that while I liked everything they were doing, that really wasn't something I was going to invest too much time in myself. And so they carried on with doing their thing, and I kind of did something different. But there's people out there that give their lives for causes, you know, and it will consume their life to some degree. You know, whether it's fighting against, you know, corruption in government or in the school system, or, you know, whatever your cause is, make sure that it's a good one, right? Because it will consume your life. It's going to cut into your family time. It's going to cut into your brain space. Your creativity can shrink. So, and I know we're getting off on a tangent here, but I think it's really relevant, because when you're a business owner and you're trying so hard to adapt to a new world that doesn't use, you know, newspaper advertising and yellow page advertising and simple radio or TV at an affordable rate, and you're trying to adjust to this lightning fast movement by powerhouse players to suck every business dry, you have to be smart. You have to be smart. And sometimes that smartness, or that intelligence, that wisdom, is not being smart as in I understand everything. It's more about I understand what I'm doing. Because you're not going to understand the algorithms of Facebook. You're not going to understand the algorithms of Google. You're not going to understand what makes all these massive compilations of information across the world at the speed of light. You're not going to outsmart them. There's no one person in those organizations that can answer all the questions. Massive organizations, so don't try.
Yeah.
If you know you're more powerful than anybody that knows a lot about the others, because they're not going to know it all. Yeah. So I know that in our company, we just had to circle back to doing us. We're going to start small, taking care of Justin at ACE, taking care of the internal office at ACE, taking care of the employees at ACE, taking care of the communities at ACE, taking care of the vendors at ACE, donating to the community around ACE. And that's all really that matters at this point. That's really it. In deepening those personal relationships and becoming expert at everything we do. And that's been our whole focus, is just really being good. So that way, like we noticed, as cold as it was last night, I think it got down to 14 degrees. We didn't have very many no heat calls. And everyone was like kind of surprised. And they were kind of looking at me like, well, what happened? We should have had a lot of no heat calls, right? I said, nah, that means you're doing great work because your systems are all working tonight. They're not calling you back saying there was a problem when it hit the fan. So I said, this to me is a sign of great growth at ACE, that of your 8,000 or 9,000 customers, you didn't have one single person call you and say, hey, that unit that you put in is freezing up on me, or it didn't come on. I don't think we had one. Did we, or did we have one? Maybe, can't remember. Anyway, it was very, very low volume. So that meant that anything that came in was a new opportunity, a new customer opportunity, or a chance to meet someone. So sometimes slowing down is speeding up. So I was actually incredibly encouraged that the phone wasn't nuts this morning, because that meant that we can just go about our day. Very cold weather, very hot weather, doesn't really matter. Doing us. That gives us the chance to learn more, to offer, instead of just protecting or scrambling to protect. Now we have the opportunity to perfect. We're able to do some duct cleaning, do some air quality stuff, some other things. So you can't perfect if you're always in protect mode.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
a great way of looking at that.
Yeah.
As far as like, hey, the phone should be ringing. Like, this should be prime opportunity. Mm-hmm. But is it callbacks that would be making that ring? Mm-hmm. Probably, right?
You're going to hear me quote scriptures all the time, and my family, they just, I don't know what they think about that, but because anyway. But one of my favorite scriptures, again, my dad used it a lot, and King David said, "Feed me with food convenient for me, lest I be hungry and curse thee, and say there's no God, or I am full, or I'm full, and I say there is no God." So human nature is, if you wind up having so much, you don't think about God. If you wind up having so little, you curse God. And so David understood that about the human heart. And I think just that reminder to ourselves that if we have sufficiency, if your business is running and it's making profits, if your employees are happy, if their families are taken care of, take great pride in that. Just be glad, be thankful. We just passed the season of Thanksgiving, and then instantly, we see it in our business that we can go all year long without a single 1-star review. And generally a 1-star review is because usually it's a perceived, uncommunicated issue. It's rarely because you did such bad work. It's 9 times out of 10, you rubbed somebody wrong, and then you wouldn't concede to the way they saw it, and then here you go. Okay?
Or they feel like, oh, you overcharged me for this, that, and the other. Maybe didn't say anything initially when they signed the invoice, but then they sat there and like stewed on it.
Right.
It's like, oh, now I'm going to call the office because I'm furious.
Right.
And it's like, this could have been handled before the estimate was even signed.
For sure.
Like, I don't really know about that number. Like, you want to check with your manager on that.
Your
like, however you want to go about that conversation. That's right. But catching it on the front end, and it's so much easier.
Oh yeah,
to change a number before it's signed for.
Oh right. Oh yeah. Even
than
in
pulling
the
it out of the.
Yeah, because even programmers and these software writers understand, it's estimate converted to invoice, converted to completion of job. Then it's so hard to undo. But anyway, let me go back on this real quick. 'Cause I don't want to lose my thought on it. I'm starting to lose it. But this time of year is the time that we will get the 1-star reviews more than any other time, which to my knowledge we haven't, and been able to maintain some really high ratings through the year. But the reason it's every holiday, Christmas, New Year, you have the shorter days. There's some thought as to the cold weather. People aren't out getting that vitamin D. They're more constricted and restrained. There's the strain of purchases. There's the strain of the family coming in, and everybody's just racing through this season that follows Thanksgiving. Well, you would think that shortly following a holiday like Thanksgiving, where you're supposed to be giving thanks for everything, that you would kind of hold that thought on in through the winter. But it's like Thanksgiving, thank you, God, for everything you're giving to us. Now, bye, 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 bye. Honk your horn, run you off the road, flip you off. I'm like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
But that's what happens. And so we are hyper aware of that in the company, that people are on edge. And so we've learned that when things seem like they're overacting when they call you, they probably are. And so we at least have that mentality, that understanding to try to help people. So anyway, I wanted to just talk to business owners, because that's really what I like to do here. And I know we've got the other set. All the equipment is in. We're just waiting on Trina to get on Facebook and find us some little chairs and stuff, because I just don't want to buy a bunch of new leather chairs to talk on the show. But, to talk to business owners and just to remind you that you're doing a great job. And that, yes, you're not going to beat Google, probably. You're not going to beat Facebook, and you're going to have to play their game. But just do the math. Mm-hmm. Stay humble, stay smart, put your budgets where they are. Don't over leverage, because you can spend, it used to be like, I'm going to spend $100,000 in marketing. That'll blow us up.
Right.
Only to have the exact same result as if you had spent 10. $100,000 means nothing to these guys, like nothing.
Yeah. And you're mad because you said, I'm going to spend $100,000 and I deserve to become a X million dollar company this year.
That's right.
Because I emptied my pockets for this.
Because I was stupid.
Now give it back.
Yep.
So it all ties back to that mindset of me saying, I'm doing this because it will open this door.
And that's just goes into just taking full responsibility for your actions. When I was young, people talked about it a lot more, but it was like, be responsible for you. Like, did you say it? Did you not? You take responsibility for your actions. If you did it, don't put it off on somebody else. Even if they were involved, just take responsibility for your actions. That's something you don't see or hear hardly at all anymore. But it's so true. Just take responsibility for your actions. I spent $100,000 recklessly, and now I'm paying the price. Hey, it's okay, man. It's money. You'll learn from it. So minimize the chasing of the dollar. If you're a business owner, you're chasing dollars, it's going to be problematic. Every time that I allow myself to be enamored with a goal that was hit or exceeded, and I begin to make that the goal, we fall flat on our face.
Mm-hmm. And that's what my whole department can be based around. Mm-hmm. Like everything you look at with marketing, we're starting to change our script a lot on that, which I'm thrilled about. Like, I'm over the moon about where we're going with it. I'm so excited. But you look at traditionally how it's approached and sold to you, like literally sold to you. Like, here's our package.
Yeah.
And here's what we're going to promise or guarantee to deliver you is like,
we need a coffee pot on the table.
yeah, we should put a little something.
A little coffee pot right
We'll
here.
maybe make a French press to share or something.
Come on. You're too bougie, Josh. Anyway, sorry. You were saying.
Pinky's up. It really can become so much of, well, how many impressions am I getting? How many leads am I generating? What are my KPIs? Like, all these things that they try to sell you on. And if you do a big
steal the
effort,
soul of your business and you.
right? Because I can throw this huge effort at something, being like, this is the most amazing campaign. I'm so excited about this. Like my wanted poster thing. Like, I was so excited putting that stuff out, and we spent the day just like driving around canvassing, and the day ended with an angry person in the neighborhood and us having a window go out on our truck.
Hey, I booked a job off that campaign the other day.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They do work.
They work.
Yeah.
But in my mind, from where I said, because I had the wrong mindset with it, of like, we're putting out this too good to be true thing, and it's going to, I'm going to come back, and our phone's going to be blowing off the hook.
I warned you about that, though.
You got to let me have that one.
You
got to let me get excited and be let down.
I know.
To rock the boat to be where I'm at.
Yeah.
But now I understand that doing that and having that mindset of like, I'm doing this all for the return that I think is guaranteed or something, I'm killing myself.
Do you remember us talking a couple episodes back about like, whatever you find to do it with all your might? Mm-hmm. If you're doing it legitimately to help somebody, or you're doing it sheerly as joy, I think we have a Dallas sent us that little silly system in the trailer. Mm-hmm. So this guy, if you haven't seen it, you can look us up on Facebook. You'll see this clip, and you'll know it because it's the reel with the most views. One of my friends plumbed in his trailer a little pipe. It went under the trailer and went to a ball valve that you could turn off. So, and then he showed the video. He shows the pipe. He pulls a cap out and he puts a funnel in it. Well, what he created was a job site urinal in his trailer. So, and if you're in construction, or if you've been in any service business and you know, like, you're working and you can't knock on the customer's door and ask them to use their bathroom, and it's like, you got to go. You don't want to drive to a gas station, and it's kind of popular. You can't go behind the bush. Traditionally it's been a Mountain Dew bottle. Don't drink the Mountain Dew. But Gatorade bottle, something like that. Well, he basically made himself a little urinal that he could cap off, and then he could drain it later, at home or going down the road or whatever. Brilliant, cute little idea. Guys are like raving about it. Like one guy said, I'm putting them in all my trailers today. Like he was all into it. And because it's 2 pieces of pipe and 3 fittings, and some strapping. So anyway, that was not done to get views. That was him doing it and sending it to me saying, hey, check this out, Justin.
Yeah.
Opportunistic me said, hey, I'm going to throw that on a plumbing Facebook post page. And I did not expect that result. In 2 days, 150,000 views on that thing, and it's rolling out. I think it's still going up. It's crazy. But that just goes to show you what you put your heart into and what you enjoy doing is really what people want to see. They don't want to see, me talking, Justin with Ace Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air here, growing our business. Please support me. I mean, that mean nobody really cares, Yeah. So when we look at ourselves realistically and who we are in the scheme of this big old creation, and then we look and we honor the people around us, and we are thankful for the customers and the opportunities that are in front of us, then we let the greater powers deal with Google and Facebook and whoever else, TikTok, Twitter, blah, blah, blah. Anyway.
And whatever you make that, like you're saying, whatever you put your heart into or whatever becomes like your obsession or whatever that is, like there's a fascinating thing I heard. That if it's negative, it can be incredibly dangerous. Like people, basically they were talking about people who are addicted to cocaine have an exceptional ability of finding cocaine. Like it sounds crazy, but it's like their brain is doing something for them of like, hey, I need this thing. So I'm going to wheel and deal you into social situations where you can score.
Really?
It's wild bonkers. Like people who they're like, oh, I did it this X amount of times, baby, at a party, whatever, got hooked on it. Like a normal, like if you ask me, how could you find it?
I don't know. You guys go ask them on the street.
People who I know used to do the stuff, but like if I didn't know those people, I'd
drop
be like,
you into a new city and try to find
drop me in a new city. I'd be like, I don't know, man. Like go in the darkest alley you can find and go knock on some doors or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
but but they have that ability to innately do that within them because that has become like their necessity. Like my brain is telling me I have to find this to quell this thing within me, and they'll find it. So if whatever you make that thing, like if it's negative, if it's positive, everything in your being is going to work towards opening that door for you. So it's not like, hey, I deserve this thing and I'm going to pay for it to go slam that door open with a battering ram, because really what's that going to get you? You just broke somebody's door.
Yeah.
They're mad at you for breaking
and
their door.
And then they put a new door out and you're still out in the cold.
And then you just came out of pocket to replace their door. You know what I'm saying?
Even better.
It's those things where the door will open for you. You don't have to go say, hey, I'm going to batter it down.
Right. So with the big guys, the Facebooks and the Google, the Google Ads, LSAs, I guess my message today was let your peace return unto you. I mean, that would be a good one, because my spirit I have spent years, the past 5 years, understanding what it means to be bullied by those organizations. I mean, you remember me telling you up front about it. And as you're researching, you're starting to see what I was saying about the way they operate, And so it's just decision time, business owners. They are out to get as much money from you as they can. If you go out of business, you're just collateral damage. It's not personal. It's wrong, but it's capitalism. And it's the world, and it's the way even nature works. If a little deer is born a little slower and gimpy, he's probably going to die in the wild. It's the way that nature keeps the survival of the fittest going. So as business owners, we have stepped out into that world that we were brave, and we said, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to try to see if I can make my fortune. You might not. Fortunately, it doesn't mean literal death, but it can mean financial death if you're not smart. And by smart, I don't mean you've got to outsmart and figure out the algorithms of all this. I am happy to talk business with people. I'm happy to share the things that we do know about the algorithms within reason. But my biggest advice is very simple: to have a vision for yourself. Believe in your vision, because you know what's really interesting is that some of these big companies, I'm going to give you some companies that people laughed at, that said they were never going to work. I'm going to give you a little list. See if you recognize any of these businesses. You ready? Amazon. Everybody said it'll never work.
Online bookstore.
Online bookstore.
Ain't gonna happen.
Ain't gonna happen. Netflix. People love, what was it, Blockbuster? Then they went to, they said streaming wasn't available, so Netflix started out, I think it's like a vending machine DVD thing. Or
Yeah, probably like Redbox, right?
Redbox,
started
maybe
like
something,
that.
or maybe it was the baby start of streaming. Like, people are not gonna pay monthly subscription for that.
Yeah, they got cable already, man.
Yeah. Starbucks. Nobody's gonna pay $5 a cup of coffee. FedEx, believe it or not, too expensive to ship packages. The logistics were too hard. There's no way it's gonna work. Airbnb. I didn't think Airbnb was gonna work. I'll tell you that now.
You think about Uber.
Uber was one of them. Uber, Tesla.
Think about the concept of Uber. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I'm gonna I'm gonna have my teenage child or whatever, like whatever situation you're arranging a ride for. I'm gonna have my teenage child be driven in a stranger's car. It'll be fine. Like, you would think that person is bonkers crazy. Like, even the person themselves, like, I'm gonna go hop in a stranger's backseat.
Yeah.
Typically that was like, you're getting in the candy van,
Right.
and you're getting you're getting ransacked.
Right.
Like, that's a no-go. And somebody's like, hey, this is my business idea. Like,
and it works.
And it is on probably 90% of people's phones.
I had a friend of mine, and it's still active. You can look it up. I actually started a boat version of that called Hoba.
Hoba,
Hoba. And it's in Charleston, I think, in Savannah. You can download an app, and if you're in any of those cities, you can actually just jump on anybody's boat, just like Lyft or Uber. So he does it for boats. So if you want to say, hey, I just want to go for a boat ride over to the restaurants, you just get a Hoba driver to pick you up at the Battery and run you over to Shem Creek.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. McDonald's, Walmart, YouTube, those are all businesses. The very same businesses that we're so upset with right now for all their strong arming techniques are the ones that people said would never make it.
Yeah, because they're the businesses were in their infancy. An infant looks incapable because they completely are.
Yeah.
They're helpless, but that infant eventually grows into a very capable person.
That's right.
So are you judging them based on their infancy and saying they're going to go no further past that? Or can you have the foresight to look down the road and say, this is the man or woman that will become?
And so the problems presented to you, the obstacles of growing up in a business, once you solve those, you can either avoid those, run from them, complain about them, be entitled acting about it, and blame your failure on circumstance and all the bullies that kept you down. Or you can learn about it, learn how to either avoid it, address it head on, or create an answer or a competitor to it. So essentially that's what we're doing at a very microscopic way, is we're saying, we don't understand this. So let's create our own little social network that means something to us.
Yeah.
So we're creating a little microcosm of what they're doing. There's ways around it, you know, and I want these podcasts to be helpful, you know, because every business out there is dealing with these things. You do good work. You offer a good service. And I will tell you this, one thing I did learn, because I was a builder before I was in the service trade industry this way. There are times when you can look, if you've been fighting your business for years, and there are key fundamental errors in the industry itself. Sometimes you have to change businesses. Mine was construction. When I saw the illegals come in and take over the whole construction sector and are able to do that and submit invoicing that matched what their needs were, and it was much lower than what mine as a citizen were, with taxes and insurance and other things that I had to carry, there was a flaw in the industry that was being allowed. And you had to either be a crook or you had to fight with that to the grave. And an old man told me one time, he said, construction will kill you. And I found a book one time years ago in Barnes & Noble, back when you went to Barnes & Noble to find books that were actually worth reading.
Yeah.
It was statistically that a construction worker, an owner or a self-employed businessman, that the stress level on him was the equivalent of a day trader on the New York Stock Exchange. That's how high their stress levels were. Oh man, don't get me started on that.
Really?
Yeah. The cash flow demands, the lack of payment, the deadlines, the type of people you have to work with are you know, confidence in an unfaithful man is like a broken tooth and a foot out of joint. You're dealing with a lot of people that are not faithful. You know, you got a lot of drugs in that industry. You've got a lot of alcoholics in that industry. You got a lot of broken homes from the travel in that industry. So you've got a lot of dynamics you're always trying to shuffle. And then when you think you've got all that resolved and everything's going to go smooth, it becomes turkey season and your whole crew doesn't show up. You look at me with a blank look on your face. You don't know what turkey season means, do you?
Not to...
Just put it's turkey season.
Okay.
No.
Is that inappropriate?
No, yeah, yeah, absolutely. Turkey season in the South is like deer season, but worse. Like, it only comes early spring and April. It only lasts a little while. And guys just go missing. They just decide turkey hunting is way more important than work. And it happens very regular.
I didn't know that.
It's written about. There's articles and books about it.
Wow. Especially
in the South. So if your construction project's running in turkey season, you better plan on hiring additional help, because some of your regular help won't be there.
I didn't realize that that was a part of any of that.
It's worse than college football, man.
Turkeys.
Oh yeah.
Not even.
Man,
I
got to get you out. You never been turkey hunting, have you?
I've never been
hunting.
Any kind of
hunting.
Yeah.
Or hunting.
Hunting.
Okay. Work on that, man.
You'll work on that.
So, that being said, we got to take Josh turkey hunting. You got your gun. You got your license.
I mean, we got the guns covered.
We got guns.
Got a fishing license. I don't know if that
fishing
covers,
license.
I don't know if that covers hunting.
No, it won't cover.
Looked about the same, right?
Yeah, no.
I'm saying, like, is it a hunting and fishing license?
Oh, you can get a hunting and fishing license.
I may have that. I have some kind of... People don't care about my license. Yeah. They don't care about
anyway, but I have. We'll have to get you out.
I was trying to get Shane to take me deer hunting.
Really?
Yeah.
He didn't take you?
No.
Let Matt take you.
That fell through.
Let Matt take you.
Matt might.
Matt put you on deer.
He might put me on.
Matt, boom. You'll have your buck on the wall.
A couple hours.
No, a couple trips probably. He'll get you on.
Yeah.
You gotta sit out there for a while. But anyway, man, anything else you want to talk about today?
I did look something up because I was like,
right.
Man, I think this is an interesting thing, and I'll let you kind of chew on this one too. So you're talking about like entrepreneurs, and we've kind of hit on this a few times about what you are putting into things and what you're looking for out of things. So if you look at the word entrepreneur, it's a French word.
Mm-hmm.
Entre is to enter.
Mm-hmm.
Preneur comes from prendre, which is a verb meaning to take. So if you think
Entering
about
the take.
right, are you with what you're doing as an entrepreneur? Are you entering to take what you need, or are you entering to be taken?
Or to take over.
Enter for the taking. Like that can be taken so many different ways.
Every entrepreneur is there to take as much as he can get. It is our own morals that tell us when you've crossed a line.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the older you get, see, when you're young, it's like you're carving out your spot because the older entrepreneurs don't want to let you in. It's kind of funny. When you're really young, all the entrepreneurs help you get started. Once you look like you might be figuring it out, everything dries up. You're blocked out. Then you got to fight. So it's almost a nice little cycle that it weeds out a lot of the ones that didn't have it. They're not going to get helped all the way into success, but they've been given some tools. Then they're blocked out, and they've got to start to fight and shoulder their way in. So then they just really are just pounding and driving to be successful. They have got a lot to prove, and they're fighting. They're fighting scared, desperate. They're very dangerous. So young entrepreneurs, I mean, look at the Bill Gates. Look at the I'm drawing a blank. The big Apple guy,
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. There you go. These guys were all young guys, scrapping it out when they were their most dangerous. And then of course, now they have nothing to prove, or their industries or their companies or corporations are massive, but it's kind of how it works. And then all of a sudden it becomes your time to back up and say, whoa, okay, I need to pull in my horns a little bit. I need to help the next generation, or I need to even go back into my own self and say, okay, all these years of fighting has made me a little shallow. It's made me a little hard. It's made me a little insensitive or, incapable in other areas. Something always gives. When you become very successful in one thing, something else falls off. You can be very successful in business and have a struggling marriage. You can be very successful in marriage and have a struggling business. What we want to try to do is combine them.
Right.
To where we're
like
more
I could
balanced.
be at home all the time and be like, I have a perfect relationship with my wife and kids.
Yeah.
But you're always at home. You're never at work. We're
Right.
out on the street now.
That's
Got a
not
great
gonna work.
relationship though. Like
Not gonna
like,
work.
But
Yeah.
and then you can totally go the other way. It's like I'm working so hard. I'm trying to chase the dollar and the dollar. What are their names again? You can so easily
and
fall.
I've been there. I've been there, man, with knowing my kids' birthdays and graduation times and class events. I wish I'd have went to so many more things and been actually more present. Even when I would go to things, it was kind of like,
Yeah.
instead of enjoying that moment. Those are big moments in your kid's life, man. And, we're not guaranteed tomorrow, so there's opportunities we have to hold our little kids or to hold our grandkids or to have a quality conversation with our older kids or our spouse. It's your legacy. This is not as much as it feels like it is. Your business may make it, but probably won't, at least in the same way when you're gone. It'll be given to another person, whether it's a son who sells it or whatever the case is, or does something with it. That would be wonderful, but most of the time that's not what happens. So, but what never dies is those relationships and those memories.
Right. And I was watching a movie the other day. James Dean, like the old actor from way
the one
back.
who never got old.
Yeah. So there's a good biography movie about him, and there was a moment showing of, did this happen? I don't know, in his childhood, but he was a little kid and he was sitting there. He had memorized a poem and was reciting it in front of his dad, and his mom was standing right there by him, and the dad was sitting there like reading the paper on the chair. And he's like, what is he talking about? Like, what is he doing? And the mom is like, excuse me, he just memorized all 3 stanzas of whatever poem it was. And he's like, I'm trying to read my paper, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, you know, he worked hard on this or whatever. She's like, okay, well, y'all have the front room then. And then he gets up and leaves all mad. And you can tell he's just like crushed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I clung on to that moment. Like, you know, my boys aren't there yet. They're not even 2, both of them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But just thinking like, please, Josh, hang on to this warning from this movie. You know, it's from a movie, whatever, but hang on to this, what you just felt when you watched that, because that's vital.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, I'm not, like I said, I'm not there yet. So you can totally educate me in every which way around yonder about fathering. But when they try so hard on something, even if it's not something like that, dad's probably like, poetry's stupid, like whatever he thought. Or I might be like, poetry's amazing, and my kid wants to go be in the trades. It's like, I don't really know those things, but whatever you're putting your heart and hands to is like, I want to make sure I am
supportive,
so happy and supportive for them, even if it's something I don't understand. Mm-hmm. So I am trying like to keep that thought of like, all right, when they get to that point, when they're a little older, remember what you're saying now, you know?
Right. Mm-hmm. No, that's good stuff, man. You know, it's not just kids. I mean, I find myself doing that with technicians. I mean, they're younger guys, and trying to acknowledge their success. Sometimes they're telling me something you can tell they're pretty fired up about what they've understood, and it may be yesterday's news for me, but just actually acknowledging those small accomplishments. And you know, the best way to do that is to remind yourself of your small accomplishments, because my wife's pointed this out about me. She said, you drive yourself so hard that you're never good enough for you. You know, which is actually a character flaw. That's not a good thing. Something that I work on. Now, if I'm willing to do that to myself, then I definitely will do it to you. Mm-hmm. You know, because I mean, I understand that as truth. I understand that is what we're supposed to be doing as men. Pushing, next goal, next level. You know, better, faster, stronger. Mm-hmm. That's the way we're kind of groomed to think, and it's kind of in our DNA and definitely in our chemistry with testosterone. But but just backing up sometimes and saying, you know, let me actually celebrate the wins, the small wins, because life has a lot of meaning if you actually feel like you're living. Mm-hmm. But if you never feel like you're winning or succeeding or getting ahead, then you just become somebody nobody wants to be around.
In this industry, and I'm sure probably this relates even better with your building years, is you get to spend so much time in the building, putting it together. Everything that leads up to it being done is where all your time is spent, and you never get to bask in the accomplishment.
That's right.
Not in a prideful way where it's like, oh, look at me, like that, I'm awesome, I'm the best, I did that. But you don't get to ever slow down and just sit there and be like, man, we did that. Let's just like look at it for 10 minutes. You don't get to do that. We don't get the liberty of just standing, like our technicians, they don't get the liberty of just standing at a job site and being like, we just fixed your heat, and I'm going to stand in here with you and feel that hot air just blowing on us. Don't that feel good, man?
Yeah, they're not doing that, though.
We just accomplished that.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, fixed, on to the next one. Problem immediately starts again.
It does.
You never get to enjoy anything.
But it's so funny. We actually joke about this a lot. We're like, isn't it so funny how you can't wait to get to the end of a job, knowing full well you got another one sitting right behind it.
And you just got to leave it immediately.
But you
get no time.
Can't wait to get done and get in the next problem.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting concept. You never got to go sit in those houses you built. Probably. I mean, maybe you did. I don't know. But
no, not really.
You didn't get to go stand in and just walk around and like look, or put a chair in there and enjoy it and be like, man, we did this.
I can't tell you how many times building a house, a homeowner said, man, when I get done, we're going to have a party. I'm going to invite you over. I got invited to one party at the end of the day. Because by the time a builder and a customer are done, generally they just want a little break from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wind up building stuff for them later again, but just generally by the time the project's done, everybody's done. Yeah. So, hey, I know I'll give a little update. Our training center got the roof put on this week, closing in those gable end studs, and I think we're going to be ready to start putting in some systems in there.
Nice.
Yeah. So you're going to, if I can get chairs here this week, you're going to have another set. We got several people that want to come up. So
Yes. And
awesome.
Just as a little closing note.
Yep.
If you're worried about, you said like the young guns, entrepreneurs type style, or people who are maybe more experienced and don't feel like anybody else has room in the space. I'm learning that there's enough for everybody.
There is.
We're all kind of on a farm here. There's a one basket limit. Pick your strawberries, fill up your basket, go home, enjoy your spoils. But what good is it for me to fill up 15 other baskets because I'm going to take them home and they're just going to rot? I can only eat so many.
That's right.
I'm just kind of chewing on that, thinking on that. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to do us. We're going to get what we're going to get, and we're going to be happy with that.
And I got to add to that though, because we are in business, and I want to offset that messaging with the same point here though, that it is your job to grow.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not growing, you're dying. But growth comes in a lot of forms. It doesn't have to be that you're out running trucks faster than your competition, or that you're producing more volume than your competition. Growth comes from inside. It comes in the form of your skill, the quality of relationships you have with your technicians, your employees, your customers. And then once that is solid, you'll find the need to add a little bit here and a little bit there. We're going to add a septic tank truck, I think, this early in the beginning of the year. So that's another line that we're adding where that's growth. But we're not even adding a guy for it because we have Matt that wants to run a septic truck. So we're just going to start adding better equipment to be able to better service our customers. And I can just about read the future and say that will probably require the addition of another tech or two. And so that's saying you look around and, wow, I grew. But why did I grow? Did I grow because I wanted to add more technicians?
Right.
No, you just grew as a matter of, I need a better piece of equipment, because while we have great drain clearing equipment, leak detection capabilities, we're able to service city sewer and sewer lines and mains and drains and backups of all sorts perfectly. The one thing we don't do, and we live in an area full of them, is septic tanks. I don't ultimately want to be in the septic tank business. I don't want to hurt my neighbors that run septic trucks or install septic systems. I simply want to be able to service my customers who call me and say, Justin, I've got a backed up septic tank, and yes, we can be there and help you. Yes, we can be there and help you. So again, growth will happen as a result of the proper motivation. So that's my message for today, Josh. My soapbox. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
And we'll get into some more next week.
Awesome. Well, thank you as always.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, too, for checking us out and listening.